Good evening. Happy Thursday, and welcome back to my bi-weekly live stream. My name is Richard Hébert. If you don't know me already, I'm a real estate advisor with Engel and Volkers New Orleans. I serve the greater New Orleans area, so all over Southeast Louisiana. So whether you're looking to buy or sell anywhere here or around the globe, Engel and Volkers is globally connected. So wherever you're looking, I'm sure that we have someone who can help you out there. Tonight is all about 2026 design trends. So I'm super excited to dive into this, chat a little bit about what's in. We can talk and celebrate about some of the things that are out. I am very, very excited about some of these. If you saw some of the promotion, we're really celebrating the death of some trends that have well overstayed their welcome. So tonight is, as always, completely interactive. So if whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, I'm live here with you. So please leave your comments. I would love, especially tonight, we're talking about something super duper subjective. So I would love to hear a little debate, read a little debate. Do you disagree? Is there a design trend that or faux pas that you will fight to the death for? Let me know in the comments. I can't wait to hear from you. And as always, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't had a chance yet. Totally free, doesn't touch your bank account, never will. And I am excited to dive in. Want to give a shout out really quickly to Liz Wallace, who will be in the chat tonight with us. Liz is my licensed assistant at Engel and Volkers New Orleans. She's also a wonderful licensed advisor in her own right. So she helps us facilitate some of the conversation. So if you see her in there, say hello. And again, thank you so much for joining on in. There's Liz welcoming everyone in. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about 2026 design trends. I know we're halfway through the year, but design trends don't tend to move out that quickly, right? A lot of these things that we're going to talk about today are not only things that are good right now and that will be good long term, but they are things that I think that you're going to really enjoy and appreciate. So it's nice to know, hey, what's going on? What are buyers in the market looking for if you're listing your home? And what are some ways that you can improve your quality of life within your own home? So remember to leave your questions, topics you'd like covered, and comments in the chat. I will see those and we can talk and debate and do all that good, juicy stuff. So let's go ahead and dive in and talk about 2026 design trends. Everything is subjective. Remember that. I have my personal thoughts and feelings and style and all of that. You will have your own as well. So none of this is canonical completely. This is up for interpretation. Make it your own. Take little bits from it that you would like. Take none of it if you don't want to. So what is going on in design in 2026? Well, let's talk about it. The very first thing that I want to cue up is this. We are celebrating the death of all gray everything tonight. That is no longer here. I used to call it asylum gray or asylum white, where everything was super monochromatic and awful. We would walk into homes. It seemed like that was the fallback for a lot of flippers and new construction, that they just wanted to try to appease everyone. I would try to joke with folks and say that this was them, I don't know, priming the house for you to actually paint it colors you'd like. But that is no more. So if we have gotten rid of all gray everything, what are we going to put in its place? That's a good question. Let's talk about it. So in 2026, the home is expected to do more than just look beautiful. Looking beautiful is nice, but it is expected to support health, emotional balance, and the realities of everyday life. This is a quote from Jennifer Adams. She's the Engel and Volkers lifestyle and design expert. We do have our own in-house designer at Engel and Volkers. And let me go ahead and hide the comments real quick so that you can see this. But we do have a 2026 home design trends guide. I have a PDF copy of it. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to drop me a note and I'll make sure that we get that in your hands. But it's just a really helpful tool to stay on top of what's going on. I really like it. I had the opportunity to meet Jennifer at our annual conference back in March. She's wonderful. Go check her out. She's a fabulous designer. She has a whole, like an entire line of home goods and things like that to check out. So I'll plug Jennifer there. She was wonderful. But what does that really mean? To do more than look beautiful, and how can a house support your health? How can it support your emotional balance and the realities of everyday life? Well, by thinking wellness first, that's not exclusively talking about, everything is going to be like a fitness studio and everyone can afford to put in a sauna or whatever that is. That's not necessarily the case. But what this is talking about is natural light, air quality. There is a trend going around that you may have seen on TikTok or Instagram, but it's based on a German word that I'm not even going to try to pronounce. But in English, it's called house burping. So letting natural air flow through your home, refreshing your space in that way, having a lot of windows, always very clutch. And then also looking at calming materials. These things are expected in homes, ways that it feels very natural and cozy and light and airy without being stark white or completely millennial gray. People are starting to skew more towards the personal side of things instead of everything being totally perfect. Nobody, when you walk into homes, and as I show buyers homes, nobody enjoys seeing something that looks just like a showroom, right? You want a little bit of that personality in there. Like how can I, based on what somebody else has put in there, how can I put some of my own vibes in there as well? And then feel over look. It's designed to make you feel a certain way, not just how it photographs. We say that Instagram rooms are totally out. I'm not gonna call out particular restaurants, but there are some in town. They're very trendy. You pay a lot more for the ambiance than you do for the food. But they have the Instagram walls. So you've got either, like the big vine walls and the neon sign over it. And everybody wants this like Instagrammable moment. Well, that's kind of going away now. That was a trend. It was trendy. People posted them. Well, nobody's really doing that anymore. So don't worry about making your house super Instagram worthy. Make sure it works for you. Using nice natural textures, using nice linen and really, really soft, inviting fabrics, and also combining different materials. You'll see in this example photo right here, you've got really soft wood colors, wood of different finishes. That's back now. So previously you may have thought that, okay, well, this room and, our bedroom suite is going to be walnut, like exclusively walnut. Um, that is not so much the case anymore. You can blend styles, you can blend textures, you can blend it all together to make it your own. And speaking of colors, colors really do. There's incredible amount of research on color theory and how color can impact your experience and your emotions. So color is playing a huge factor in 2026 design trends. And they are more subtle colors. They are bold in a way, but restrained in a way. And before we dive into that, I would love to hear, what are some design trends that you're most relieved to see go? Are you so happy to be getting rid of the gray walls? Are you excited to, well, we might talk about barn doors in a minute. I don't know. But is there a design trend that you are so excited to see leave? If there is, please let me know in the comments. But the first color that we're going to start with is warm earth. Think about these as very grounding colors. People in times of, it's kind of like how nostalgia comes back into play, right? When the economy or world news gets people down, people are going to look for things that are grounding and that are familiar. It's just like nostalgia. Items of nostalgia, whether it is, video games or toys or collectibles or movies, during times of international strife or challenge or whatever it is, during those times, people go back to what is familiar and is comfortable. So design is following those trends as well. People are getting back to what is comfortable, what is grounding, what is earthly in a way. So one of those colors is going to be warm earth. You'll note in each of these we're going to talk about three, but in the top right corner I put a Sherwin-Williams color and their the actual identity number for it. So this one, as an example of warm earth, I pulled Sherwin-Williams Canyon Clay. That is SW6054. I have found Sherwin-Williams. I just painted almost every room of my new house. Sherwin-Williams has been wonderful. If you're in New Orleans, go to the one on Magazine Street. Those ladies are going to set you right. But warm earth is about slower, grounded living. It's got feelings of kind of like terracotta and clay. You can pair it with materials like boucle and woven linen and brush knits. So things that are kind of enveloping, that are comfortable and cozy. And then after that, sticking with that kind of theme, we're going to do a little bit of earth, wind, and fire today, right? So warm earth has a little bit of the fire vibes to it. We're going to talk about the wind here and a little bit of water. Seaside cool is very in. Blue is actually the most calming color that you can paint your home. It's scientifically proven. There are all these studies on it. It's really fascinating. But blues are also something that is very grounding. It's about peace and clarity and comfort. So Seaside Cool is one that I really appreciate because Seaside Cool as a color set is something that it's got a little bit of energy to it. It's grounding, it's peaceful, but it's not depressing, right? That's a bridge that's really easy to cross when you're trying to be cool, calm, and collected. You don't want it to be too boring or dull or anything like that. So, Seaside Cool is a type of color that is supposed to be a sensory reset for mental clarity. No ocean required. You don't have to have ocean type colors. Just if you live on the water, if you live at the beach, anything like that, you want something that is open, breathable, and airy. There's an emphasis on light, flow, and ease over decoration. It's kind of to say that the color speaks for itself, right? And the reference photo here I used is Sherwin-Williams Sea Salt SW6204. I love this. I love it paired with the white trim. I think that this picture also shows a nice way that you can combine some of those grays from previous trends paired up with the nice crisp white, and then layer it with those nice soft warm tones or wood tones that you have at the front door. And then now we are back to Earth. Earth, we're going to talk about garden green. Garden green is very in right now. I have it. Let me see. There you go. I've got it here in my studio. Garden green is, again, to emphasize that kind of grounding experience, very natural colors. Think about color palettes that you would see in a spa, right? Very, very inoffensive, but they can still be a say something color. So garden green is all about nature not being decor. It's about how the home functions. So you don't have to bring in a bunch of nature. You don't have to, you know, I don't know if you ever watched Trading Spaces, but you don't have to bring too much nature into the home. And I'll never forget, I think her name was Hildy or Hilda. If you know, and you know this legend, please sound off in the chat. But she would literally, in one episode, she stapled straw to a wall and called it decor. You don't have to do all of that. You just use these subtle hints to nature to bring it inside. Now, if you want to go staple hay to your wall, like straw, whatever, that is totally on you. This is your home at the end of the day. I can't come over and visit you because I have allergies to hay, but if that makes you happy, it makes you happy. And connection to nature is a central part of wellness focused design. Indoor outdoor spaces are really important. We've seen how doors and windows play a factor in that, and that you have those huge doors, that sliding doors that now open into the backyard. That's becoming a thing again. I've also seen a resurgence in the interior atrium. I don't know if you've ever seen an interior atrium in a home. It is a sight to behold. It is literally a glass enclosed indoor outdoor space. It's just a column of glass that is open to the sky. There's no roof, there's no skylight. It is open, and people will put in rock gardens. They'll put I have seen it in a home on the West Bank where it literally had a running creek throughout the entire home. Really cool stuff. You don't have to go that far. It's about subtle ways that you can bring nature into the home. This reference color is Sherwin-Williams Artichoke. It's SW 6179. This is not the exact color that I used here in my studio. So if you see that in the background, I used a slightly darker color. But this presentation will be available. So if you have any questions about colors or items or reference photos that you see throughout the presentation, just let me know. I have everything saved, and I have sources for each thing. So I am happy to provide that anytime. So let's go back and look at them. Between warm earth, seaside cool, and green. So red, blue-ish, and green. Which of those colors speak to you the most? Or let me know if they don't speak to you at all. I would love to hear that too. So we've got warm earth, kind of nice terracotta clay kind of vibe. We've got seaside cool, which is a little sea foam style. And then we've got garden green, which is that true kind of artichoke green color. My mom asked me if, I think it was my mom, somebody on Facebook asked me if avocado green was going to come back. Well, in a way, you can get that green toilet and that green bathtub. You can put that thing back in your house, decorate around it, and you'll be good to go. So let me know in the chat which one of those stood out to you. So let's talk about what's in. You take a little pause. I see some folks are coming in now. I know 6:30 p.m. is kind of getting dinner ready time of the night. So that's another thing. I am always open. If you think that this time doesn't work or you want to see other times, maybe we bounce it around instead of being bi-weekly strictly on Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. We can always move this sucker around. Like I said last time that we had the live stream, we'll be doing some impromptu live streams, just kind of a hangout and chat anytime. So I would love to make sure you set those notifications. If you want to see when we pop up live, see what we'll be talking about. We might pop up live on location at different spots. That's something I'm really excited about that I have in the works. But yeah, would love for you to join. So make sure you hit that notification bell over on YouTube. Okay, there are 6 defining trends of 2026. I have spent an inordinate amount of time on the internet researching all of this, pulling together what I think, what I saw coming up the most frequently. What are some common threads between things? So we will go sort of through what I found. This isn't the end all be all. I think that is Scott, Evie Nola Real Estate. I love the garden green, but I think it would be too bold for me to live in. I think I like a more subtle version of it. That's the beauty of this, is these are color palettes. So the garden green is something that is bold. You look at it and it says green. So if you're trying to follow these trends, and if you want to try some of it out, you can dip your toe, right? You can kind of gently go into it and see, maybe I want something a little more subtle. Maybe garden green's not for me, but I like a nice sage. I also recommend trying out some of your bolder no, you're good, Scott. I recommend trying out some of your, let's say, bolder design aspirations in the half bath or a full bathroom. If you're afraid of going too hardcore, if you don't know that that's something that will be for you, I recommend testing it out in smaller areas. People love a bold half bath. So if you've got a half bathroom for guests and you want to do something, say something in your house, that's a perfect place to do it. So that's a perfect kind of question. Make sure you share your questions and comments in the chat. But yes, all of this is adaptable to your preferences. These are the color palettes, but within that, you can choose a huge breadth and depth of different colors specifically to choose from. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the internet agrees is in. I love this, kind of like fashion. What's in, what's out. This one tickles me. I love this one so much. We're talking about thoughtful maximalism. Thoughtful maximalism is not throw every piece of anything that you can find, grab a bunch of junk and throw it up on the wall. It is just that homes are becoming more personal than ever. I One of the recommendations that I always make to my first time home buyers is they feel like they have to decorate everything as soon as they move in. A lot of folks are moving up from apartments. You're going to need more furniture as you get into a new home. But what I try to recommend to my buyer clients is to slow your roll a little bit, right? That is, don't go to World Market. I love World Market. I was there this weekend buying a laundry hamper. Don't go to World Market and say, okay, I have to buy everything from this section, or I went to Rooms to Go and I Rooms to Win everything that they had put together. The best interior design will always be based on you and your experiences and the things that you collect over time. People tend to love to travel, their flea market finds. I like to tell people that every single thing in my house has a story of how I got it, a story of who gave it to me, a story of when I discovered it. And that makes it so profoundly personal. I keep behind my desk over here in the studio, I have a display shelf or a set of display shelves. That's where I keep all my knickknacks. So, thoughtful maximalism is about containing that maximalism in smart ways, right? It's not about clutter, it's intentional layering, it's curating your collection of trinkets and tchotchkes and artifacts or whatever it is over time. It's about not buying mass produced artworks. Support local artists. Local art and custom art doesn't always have to break the bank. Be on the lookout for those opportunities. Look out for Facebook Marketplace. Gather things over time and put them together. And what's funny is the more that you do this, the more you'll see your own style play out. When I first started renting apartments and things, I didn't I didn't really know what my style would be. I had a sense of it. I knew what movies I liked and what clothing designers I liked and everything like this. Oh yes, I know Fran loves that. And yes, Scott said auctions. Auctions are huge. You can sign up. I get notifications from different auction houses here in New Orleans. I've even gotten notifications for when the Richard Simmons estate went up for auction. That was pretty cool. But as you collect things over time, the art starts to feel personal. And as you collect things and you start putting them together, you will have inadvertently taught yourself what your design style is. Put it together. The reference photo that have here is actually a kid's bedroom. And I love this so much. This is not matchy matchy. You can tell, you can kind of get a feeling for what the design thread throughout is, but it still allows a kid to be a kid. I love this. The little display shelves with the figurines and the pop art and the different textures. Notice that those are oh yeah, Elliot would eat this up. Notice the different textures on the couch and the ottoman. You've got soft, you've got medium soft, you have hard with the end table there, and you've got all these different shapes. And the other thing that I want to harp on here that is a design trend that I didn't put it on this list because it's been around for a while, but you'll hear a lot of people talk about color drenching. That's where you take that paint color and you go or ceiling to floorboard with it. I love this. It's an immersive space. It definitely tells me a little bit about this kid. This kid's an adventurer. They like bold things. I would imagine they have a big personality. And that's what people want to see. It is your home, it is your design aesthetic, and you want it to feel like you and look like you. And there are very simple ways to do that in a beautiful manner. I love this bedroom. Oh my God. If I had this bedroom when I was a kid, I don't even get me started. Let's talk about modern heritage. Modern heritage is one that I also really, really love. This one probably strikes a strong chord for New Orleans viewers. If you tune in from Savannah, from Charleston, from any of these markets where we have older homes, this is probably already in place. We're gonna talk about how these trends tie into New Orleans and New Orleans architecture, but this is one that is kind of, we're a little ahead of the game here, right? This is classic moldings, traditional millwork, historical silhouettes, but taking that shell, right? The design that's already there and pairing it with more modern elements. In this reference photo, you can see that you've got the wainscoting here, you've got the beautiful trim work, but that's paired with kind of, in a little bit of an industrial modern table, a soft rug. You've got different metals, you've got different wood textures, you've got different patterns of fabric. What I like about this design in particular is that you have a color drenched wall, but it's in a some more subtle color. So, like how Scott mentioned earlier, maybe a more subtle green or something like that, but you still want to bring some of that pop into it. A great way to do it is through the decor itself. So don't feel like you have to fully immerse yourself in like some big bold color. It doesn't have to be super Instagrammy, but this is a great way to put together bold components. And I will tell you, furniture and decor, you can change very easily. You get into the space, it's not for you. That's okay. You did not fundamentally renovate your entire home. You can try again. You can put that couch up on Facebook Marketplace and go find you another one. So low levels of commitment, and this modern heritage feels luxe. It feels very expensive. It still feels quite approachable. And I also think that people don't realize how affordable it can be. A lot of the wainscoting and trim work and things like that can be DIY'd. So think about it as the next time you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, I would love for you to go to the lumber section and the trim section and see how affordably you could do it. You'll see in the background the wainscoting there. Let me see if I can highlight it. Yeah, so if you see there that wainscoting, that is super inexpensively done. You can do it on your own. I do recommend the line between something looking really expensive and something looking cheap is the detail. So if you do this, make sure you measure twice, cut once, get your putty, fill in the nail holes, spackle it up there, make sure it's nice, make sure it's sanded down. But with very little investment, you can achieve this modern heritage look on a dime. Number 3, baby, terracotta tile is back. It is ranked by Good Housekeeping as the #1 comeback material of 2026. I am so delighted for this. I have seen quite a few homes, especially on the North Shore, and yep, I knew that Liz was going to love this. But terracotta is back. Think about how terracotta, being a natural material, it's described as earthly, timeless, and warm. Think about that, how that ties into, and Fran put it in her house in Mississippi. It's just a very grounding and cozy flooring material. We have it in, Jake and I recently purchased this house, and it's a former double shotgun. When we first looked at it, I was like, "Ooh, I don't know about the terracotta that was in one of the kitchens." Well, we converted one of the kitchens into a laundry and dressing room, put down a rug over it, and it is my favorite floor in the house. There was something so grounding. We used a color by Sherwin-Williams called Silver Mist. Highly recommend Silver Mist by Sherwin-Williams. We color drenched that room. We had the terracotta on the floor, and then we put down a nice soft rug to kind of balance out the terracotta. And getting dressed in that room is very calming. It just, if you think about how important the start of your day is or the end of your day, and you're going to be getting started in the closet or in your bathroom or cooking with the kids in the kitchen, whatever it is, that is a very cozy, warm, and like, I think of it like a loving material, right? It's like of the earth. You're part of it. So yeah, terracotta tile, #3. And it is also #3 on our list, but #1 comeback material of 2026. Statement mirrors. If you want to talk about inexpensive ways to make a big impact. It is statement mirrors. These are oversized sculptural materials or mirrors that add depth. They reflect light. They act as a focal point. Remember a minute ago when I said that if you want to try something crazy, try it in the half bathroom. This is the perfect spot for that. They're super powerful in living rooms, dining rooms, and the powder rooms. This is a rather subtle example of it. I liked this because this reference image from Edward Martin, it demonstrated some of those the tones that we talked about earlier with the subtle blues, with the wood tone. You can see how they brought nature in with the eucalyptus there. You can go crazy. Like, it is also a mirror. You can go on Wayfair. You can get gorgeous, wild, and whimsical statement mirrors for under $150 on Wayfair. 2-day shipping. Try it out. It is very low impact. All you have to do is anchor it in the wall. So statement mirrors are number 4. Number 5, bold ceilings. We talked a little bit about color drenching, but there is a subset of color drenching that is actually growing rapidly. I pulled some statistics from Home Decor Trends, and year over year, there has been a 40% increase in Pinterest searches for striped ceilings. And the next one really, really tickles me. The search traffic for circus interiors has more than doubled. 130% increase in interest for circus interiors. Now, what do you mean like circus interiors? That's kind of crazy, right? Whatever it is. Well, it's not that crazy when you look at it. If you live in New Orleans or you visited New Orleans and you've ever been to Hotel Peter and Paul, you know circus interior. You may not realize it, but you know circus interior. So what does that look like? A bold striped ceiling, a circus interior looks like this. These are 2 rather bold examples of it. I love the curvature of the reference photo on the left. It speaks to me. I loved arches. I loved round windows. I love anything that kind of mimics that flow of space. There are no straight lines in nature or whatever it is. I love to see curved walls. So this is a nice way that you've combined color drenching with striping. And then the reference photo on the right is all about the circus interior. It is a lot of fun. I have a client. Her name is Sierra. Sierra, if you tune in, this is a shout out for you. She moved here from Nashville. She listed her home in Nashville, and her dining room was completely circus themed. She made it on Zillow Gone Wild, but I swear to God, it was the coolest room I have ever seen in my life. So when we talk about circus, you don't have to be full Barnum and Bailey, right? This is a nice, subtle way to do it. I do love some of the callbacks to some, French themes, some hyper realism. Hyper realism and painting can sort of oftentimes fall into that surrealism a little bit. If you've ever seen, I'm really inspired by the Audubon painting. So if you ever see the Audubon paintings of birds or anything like that, I love that. That's why I really love this flamingo here. It's classy. It's beautiful. If you would like to see an immersive real life example of this, go to Hotel Peter and Paul, go to the Elysian Bar over in the Marigny. They have extraordinary examples of this where the curtains and the drapery and all of that, they look perfectly real. They look super real, but they're all hand painted to look that way. And if you have any examples of this, please do tell me because I want to go see them myself. And I would love to ask, this is one that we all have our thing, but is there a design faux pas that you would fight to the death for? You're like, you will have to drag this, I don't know, a black toilet or shag carpeting or I don't even know. What are some, or give me some examples of some design faux pas, clashing patterns. Let me know in the comments, what is the design faux pas of yours that they will have to take from you kicking and screaming? I would love to know that for sure. And remember, if you're watching this, please don't forget to take a second to like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's super helpful. I won't plug it too terribly much, but it really means a lot that you're here, and I appreciate you participating and viewing later. And then this is the overarching theme. I have talked about this quite a bit tonight already, but the biggest design trend is actually a design principle, and that is personal expression. There will never be a better designed home than the one that when you look at it, you say, oh, this is me. This feels like me. Homes are becoming curated. I love this. This is again a quote from Jennifer Adams. If you would like that home design trends guide, please let me know. I'll be happy to share it with you. But Jennifer says that homes are becoming curated reflections of how people actually live. It has you in it. It has your personality. You know, there is something about the prominence of AI these days that things are so copy and paste and mass produced and all of that stuff, that the real luxury at the end of the day is the ability to imbue a home with your personality. This is all about those collected pieces, heirlooms, artisan work, travel inspired objects. I love picking up little knickknacky things as I travel and bringing them home, and imperfection is embraced. Like I said, when buyers enter a home, if you're thinking about selling your home, and I have to tell my clients this, you know, for the listing photos, have everything staged perfectly. Like it you know, almost shouldn't feel like anybody lives here. But in general, make sure that people know that people have enjoyed this space. There is psychology behind the concept of nesting, which is the more comfortable you are in a space, the more likely you are to nest in it, which is to make it your own. So as you have personalized your home and you follow some of these design trends, but you find ways to, you know, put your personality in with it, buyers will see this as, oh, they loved this home. This home was so loved by them that they made it their own, that they felt settled in. They were comfortable here and they felt safe here. So think about how you can imbue your own personality into it to make it inviting and make it welcoming, because buyers at the end of the day, they will feel that energy when they enter your home. Oh, baby. All right, that's it for the design trends, right? We talked about what's going on, what's the psychology behind it. We've gotten some examples of it. We saw six of the core principles of, or three core principles and six design trends for 2026. So, next, we're going to talk about what is out, who we are saying goodbye to, and then we're also going to talk about ways that you can do some of the things that we talked about today on a dime, weekend warrior style. So let's start with the list. Oh man, I really want to hear from y'all in the comments on this list. This list could be heated, it could be hotly debated. I would love to hear. We're going to go in no particular order, but the awards for the not list of 2026, we're going to kick it off with all white kitchens. This is coming from someone who I literally have an all white kitchen, and I am ready to make her not an all white kitchen anymore. But all white kitchens, sterile, kind of clinical vibe, all white kitchens are gone. We are saying goodbye to the all white kitchen in 2026. Modern farmhouse and barn doors. Somewhere Joanna Gaines is fuming right now, so I hope she's not a viewer. But modern farmhouse and barn doors, that's kind of going away. You know, there are certain words that if you watch HGTV, you hear it so much that if you were to do a drinking game, you would end up in the hospital. But you know, modern farmhouse and French countryside are those two. But modern farmhouse, we're moving away from that. You can still use some of those kind of natural inclusions with it, bringing nature into it and kind of the farmhouse vibe. But that as a theme is going out. Waterfall kitchen islands. This is something, I don't know if you've never seen a waterfall kitchen island. I know, Scott, you would like a nice clean white kitchen. But you can accessorize, right? If you have an all white kitchen, that's what I'm having to do right now because I don't plan to paint it for a while. But an all white kitchen can be very nice. You know, make sure that you bring in some of the nature with the outside, with wood bowls and things like that. That will certainly bring it up to trend. And look, trend does not make it right for everybody. And Liz says that she loves a farmhouse sink. Me too. Me too. I love a farmhouse sink. And waterfall islands, they are the islands that look like they are continuous off from the surface down the side in marble. Those are kind of going away. I think that they teetered on the side of hyper modern, and hyper modern, industrial modern is taking a little bit of a backseat right now. But waterfall islands, those are taking a step back as well with that. Millennial gray walls. Look, I don't have to spend much time on this. We buried her at the beginning of the presentation. But millennial gray walls, we want some color. We want some personality. We want to feel like we are living somewhere, not in a liminal space. Fully open concept. So I have thought, and when I talk to clients about this, I think of the trend of a fully open concept as a pendulum. That's many of these trends go out, they come back, they go out, they come back. Fully open concept is one of those, right? People nowadays are expecting a room to serve a purpose. It was starting to get to the point that it was so open concept that when I would show homes, it felt like I was showing gymnasiums. Everything was fully open. It was strictly up to the furniture to design spaces. Privacy took a back seat. You'll also notice these trends play out in commercial real estate spaces as well. Co-working spaces were going fully open concept for a while, and now people are pushing back to have cubicles and individual spaces. But there's a happy medium of everything, right? So instead of every single room being, totally closed off, like my office here, this is a good example. And I'll do, if Jake approves, maybe we'll do a house tour at some point. But behind me, this is the very front room of the house that I'm in right now. And then behind me is what would have been a living room. And this is just a curtain that we hung behind here so that we can keep the space open. My studio and my office feels very its own style. It is totally closed off, but I can easily open up this curtain and it opens up into what is our record player room. So it's our screen-free lounge, kind of our detox space in a way from screens. So with this totally open, I can enjoy both spaces, but everything still has its own purpose and its own place. And then Instagram only spaces. This is what I mentioned earlier with those restaurants. If you want an example of this, I'm sure the food is lovely. I'm sure the people are lovely. Tacos del Cartel downtown in New Orleans, that's their complete design aesthetic start to finish. So shout out to them. If you want to see an example of it and grab a taco, head downtown to the South Market District, and you can not only see Instagram only spaces, but grab a delicious taco. So shout out to them. It needs to serve a little purpose. All right, guys. This is something that really, really excites me, is considering how national design trends play into New Orleans. New Orleans is often considered its own thing. We are not Louisiana. We are hardly America. We are this fusion of Caribbean and European influences. We are our own bubble. So how do we, as a weird little odd bird city out here, play into this? Well, we were already there. I know that I don't want that to be like some big buildup to like a total letdown, but almost every single 2026 national design trend already exists in New Orleans homes. We were ahead of the curve. This is just who we are. I love this picture, by the way. It's like the prettiest slide I've ever put together. I'm just going to pat myself on the back for that one. But yes, we were already there. And how are we already there? In personal expression being our whole vibe. I think of it this way, that we just never got the memo about minimalism. Like, I don't know if that was an email. I don't know if they sent it in USPS. We just never got the memo. As New Orleanians, minimalism was just not on a rung of our DNA. We never got it. We have always collected art. There are Muses shoes on the mantle. We live in a town where Mardi Gras throws become decor. Family heirlooms are mixed with flea market finds. I mean, think about how old this city is. That, I have even found during inspections, we've found like old dusty artwork under insulation. Brush her off, bring her a new lease on life, and hang it up in the home. and compare it with all these other things. See, that's a cool story for a piece of decor that you find. I just love that. Just put yourself all the way out there. We've got Creole cottages. We have craftsman details, the heart pine floors, exposed brick. We've just always been warm earth before they gave it a name. It's just it's imbued in our space. It's imbued in us. It's just who we are. I do love how much homes preserve, right? Shout out to Preservation Resource Center. If you ever want to talk to them, they're the best. PRC is the bomb. But we focus on preservation. That these things, New Orleans, I would almost say, I think the best way to say it is that New Orleans is immune to trend in that we have an extraordinarily rare and timeless. Yeah, just like Jake said, NOLA is full of design trendsetters. That's right. We wrote the book on it, and we've stood behind that book for generations and generations. And actually, we've been here for 300 years. So yes, New Orleans has kind of stayed out all these trends. They pass right by us. But every time people talk about New Orleans, they talk about the architecture. They talk about the design, the eclectic nature of New Orleans. So that's what we're known for, and we're sticking with it. There are ways that we can play with that and toy with ideas of modern design and bring them into the space and play with old meets new. But really, at the core of who we are as a people and as a design center for the world, I would say we kind of got it. We got it. This 2026, the other people kind of caught on finally. So that is something that I've always loved. And I'd love to ask you, what is the most New Orleans thing in your house? What is the most, this could only exist in this city, detail or object? I would love to hear it. Is it a muse's shoe? Is it, gosh, there could be so many things. Is it a corner fireplace? There used to be 4-sided fireplaces here in New Orleans for doubles. That was really cool for a while there. So let me know, what is the most New Orleans thing that you have? Could it be Jazz Fest posters? Could it be your favorite artist? Let me know, what is the most New Orleans thing about your house? Liz said 2 Zulu coconuts. Yeah, you're not going to be able to get that literally anywhere else. So I'd say that is quite New Orleans, distinctly New Orleans. Well, next we're going to talk about what are some high impact and low cost improvements you can do to your home. We've got about 12 minutes left. So if you have any questions, and look, I can stay as long as you want to, but we've got about 12 minutes left. So we're going to talk about what are some weekend warrior type things that you can do to update, to refresh your house. Oh yeah, Scott has a Simone Go cup next. Oh, Simone Go cup holder next to the refrigerator. That's a good one. Simone, everybody, if you haven't seen his artwork, you have. You've seen it. It's everywhere. So that's a really cool one. I've also seen that he had a can crusher at one point. That's it, probably in that same family. But we absolutely love his work. So let's talk about high impact, low cost. The fact that you don't need a huge renovation budget to stay on trend or to do a general refresh. This is also stuff that is super helpful if you are planning to list your home. You need to give her a little refresh, or you've been in your home for about 5 years and you're like, okay, I'm getting kind of tired of this. Let's dust her off and give her a facelift. Here's how you can do it rather inexpensively. Of course, painting. Ditch the gray, give a fresh coat of paint on the interior and the exterior. I will say on the exterior, one of the strongest defenses you have towards the weather and the elements is always going to be well-kept coats of paint. If you don't want to change out your cabinetry, change the hardware. It's very inexpensive. You can order it on Wayfair, Home Depot, Lowe's, all of those. Oversized house numbers and a new mailbox. That's a big impact from the street that some people don't expect to do. In our home, we just put up decals that are the big kind of vintage looking street address numbers. We put those in our transom. They're gold leaf. We got them off of Etsy. I think they were custom. And I think they were only about, Jake can correct me in the chat, but I think they were about $75 each, or for the pair, something like that. But from the street, my God, like it is such a cool impact. Swap out the boob light. We're going to talk about her in a second. Don't dwell too much. I know you're giggling. All those things you can do for about under $50 per gallon of paint, but all those things you can do for under $50. Now, under $300, we're talking new bathroom vanity lights. Couple that with a statement mirror. Mirrors are also great if you have a smaller space. They reflect light, so they'll not only brighten your they'll not only brighten your space, but they'll also extend it. They'll make your space look much bigger and brighter. And then change out your rugs. Rugs are a really great way to not only freshen up the look of your home, but it's also good to freshen your home and the air quality. All of these fabric type materials, if you're looking to do something that brings a little bit more of that wellness vibe in your house, change out the rug, if you have a rug that you love, get it steam cleaned. I would say at least once a year, twice a year, something like that. But yes, those are great ways to revamp your house. And then this is an interesting statistic that I found. And this was the number one return on investment thing that you can do for your home. And that is the curb appeal. Curb appeal tops every ROI, return on investment ranking for 2026. So if you're planning to list your home or you're wanting to do something that brings new life into your home, bold paint or fresh coat of paint, give it a high gloss if you want, new hardware and a smart lock on your front door can help immensely. Zhuzh things up, pull the weeds, weekend warrior it, and you would be surprised how far that actually goes. The other thing to note about your front door, especially in Southeast Louisiana or any other coastal environment, tropical climate, is that your front door takes a beating. I think that people tend to forget how much direct sunlight plus humidity, plus wind, plus temperature swings. I know right now that we're getting into summer and humidity. One of our back doors does not really open right now. Like it's just so swollen. But if you regularly repaint and take care of your door, it'll last a lot longer. And it's something that is sort of a symptom of the home, right? If your front door has issues and you don't take care of that, that can cause bigger issues down the road. I know that in our previous office, when we were on Oak Street, we had a beautiful, it was a corner store, but afternoon sunlight beat that thing like crazy. So we regularly had to, seal it, stain it, and eventually paint it. But if you don't regularly seal that, you're going to get water intrusion. You're going to also lose you're going to get a lot of air leaks and draft and all of that stuff. So make sure that your front door is the knot and the bow is done on her, that she looks nice, because it's not only for aesthetics, it is also for the safety and well-being of your home. Okay, guys, everybody, we're gonna take a breath here and talk about something very serious. This is the last thing that we're going to talk about. There's a reason that I saved it for last. We're going to talk about the greatest sin, which also happens to be the easiest thing to fix, but it's the single greatest sin in all of design and interiors and listing of homes. What could that be? Who knows? I'll tell you right now. It's the boob light. We've seen them. We know them. You probably have one lurking in your home somewhere. But this is if a blessed and privileged life is the one that has never seen a boob light. It is the most cheaply manufactured, unappealing. This is just if y'all will go with me on this, this is everything else I can be, real peaceful and kumbaya and see it from a different perspective. This is my soapbox moment. We're going to close this out with my number one pet peeve of all interiors. And that is the boob light. It is the greatest design sin of all time. I did the research on it. It rolled out in the early 1900s as an effective way when light bulbs were emitted a great deal of heat. It could burn people, it could burn fabric, it could burn the plasterwork or burn the sheetrock. This was done for the sake of utility, the boob light. This is not something that was designed to be beautiful. This was something that was designed to be cheaply manufactured at high volume and with complete and utter disregard for any taste. So, this is my eulogy to America's most beloved and most mocked ceiling fixture, and it was formerly known as the flush mount dome light. You'll see it everywhere. I cannot tell you how. I guess I can tell you, I'm going to tell you now, is that this is the easiest fix that you can do in your house. Please I'm going to come a little closer. Please listen to me. If you're planning to sell your house and you have a flush mount dome light, also known as a boob light, if you have that in your home, please change it. Before you list that house, please change it. That's all I ask of you. Everything else we can figure out. We can declutter. You don't even have to paint. I don't care. But if you have those in your house, this is the most cost-effective way to improve a showing experience in your home, to the point that once you change these down, you're going to wonder why you never did it before. And how can you go about changing those? Yes, it's cheap. It's cheap. You can literally go down to Office Depot and do it and grab it. And it's like super inexpensive. That's no longer an excuse. We have Wayfair. So let's talk about that. This is your common American boob light, also known as a flush mount dome light. This one runs at Home Depot. I checked prices today. $32.99. It's a good deal, right? Almost enticing enough to make you want to buy it and put it in your house. But it shouldn't be. Don't let the siren song of cheap allow you to put a boob light in your house. Instead, there are a million different options for what you can do. When we bought our house, there was a boob light lurking in the ceiling of my bathroom, which felt like a personal affront to me from the previous owner. No, I'm sure she was lovely. But I had to change it. So I thought, let me show you exactly what I did. I'm not asking you to do something that I myself would not do. So in order to change out the boob light, here is a prime example of how you can do it on the same footprint for about the same amount of money and pretty much no effort. This is the exact light that I replaced mine with and put in my bathroom, which is, by the way, high gloss oxblood red floor to ceiling. It is a very bold bathroom and I love it so much. So I put in this. I love her. She may not be your style. It may be a little too bold for you, but there are a million different options. It was super easy. My brother came over, helped me change it out. And I want to get, if you could guess how much, Jake, you can't say. I'm going to give it 5 seconds if you can tell me how much you think that this light fixture cost. It was super heavy. Super, super heavy. I mean, that glass was like about an inch thick. All right, Liz said 45. She knows how this game works. $53.99. Fran, Fran must have been shopping for light fixtures recently. All right, good guesses, everybody. It was $58.99 for $60. It is $26 more than the cost of a boob light. I know. Yeah, Fran, you won. Fran, you win a leftover boob light. Congratulations. That's all I've got in terms of prizes at the moment, but I'll figure something out. But for literally the cost of a nice lunch, I was able to change out the entire vibe of my bathroom. I'll be completely transparent. I hated my bathroom when we bought this house. I really hated it. And I do plan to, at some point, save up, do a gut renovation. I don't have 10,000 sitting around specifically to do that, to make the bathroom of my dreams. But I said, by God, I want to make a bathroom that I'm going to like. And I want to do it inexpensively. I will tell you the 3 things that I did. 3 things that I did to take a horrible, awful bathroom. And maybe I need to do pictures at some point, but I painted everything Sherwin-Williams high gloss oxblood red, floor to ceiling. I pulled an old particle board medicine cabinet, the trifold. We all know what I'm talking about. Pulled that off the wall, spackled it, sanded it, put up a really nice LED lit up mirror in there, and I changed out this godforsaken light fixture. That's all it was. And now I love my bathroom. Like, I love getting ready in there. So that's the kind of thing that you can do. Look for a dupe. Look for something that's less expensive. But please, all I ask is if you have this in your home, consider setting aside 30 cents a day so that you too can change out your boob light fixture. And that's it. Look at that timing. It is 7:31. Beautiful. Again, to wrap everything up, our next live stream is going to be June 25th at 6:30 p.m. Don't have a topic 100% flushed out just yet, but I will post that on social media. Please take a moment and like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's super helpful in new folks finding my stuff. And then also follow on Instagram at Richard Hébert or at Richard Hébert Realtor. And then, make sure you stop by our new shop. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's right on Magazine Street. We have new copies of our Global Guide or GG magazine there that just came out for the summer. Stop by and see us, grab a cup of coffee. It's 2844 Magazine Street, right there at Magazine and Washington. Again, thank you to Liz for helping me moderate things and keeping everything flowing tonight. Thank you for attending. And as always, everything that I do is always going to be free. So any education, resources, anything like that will always be free. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Go to richardhebertrealtor.com. You can book your one-on-one consultation there. We also have the buyer consultation available that still is maintaining a 100% success rate in attendance to buying, or at least being under contract as of right now. So thank you so much for joining. It really means so much that you are here. I'll see you June 25th. Please take care of yourself and stay hydrated. And I hope you have a very lovely evening. Thanks again.